friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Holly with the Nestled Valley Farmhouse, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of harvesting, homemaking, and talking about my pantry, a little pantry update. And also I have kind of 4 little tips and tricks on how to kind of start your own rotating, keyword being rotating, pantry stock. So I wanted to bring you along today as I'm inventorying my pantry and kind of working on getting ready for, because it's technically harvest season now, like mid-August is kind of when everything starts to come ripe. My garden is growing. I still have a lot of green tomatoes though, so hopefully they will ripen up soon so I can make some spaghetti sauce. That is one of my goals. But yeah, and I will be starting to get the bulk fruit orders. I just haven't been able to do it yet because honestly I've been so busy. We've been camping and all the fun things. So kind of getting into my harvest season vibes, so to speak. It's hard, it's bittersweet. I've really enjoyed this summer, but I'm also kind of looking forward to cooler weather and just more of a routine. Like, I guess I feel like fall can be a little bit more predictable for us because, you know, kids are back in school, everything's kind of back on a schedule, and you know, all that fun stuff. So basically today I'm going to be going through and right now I'm doing laundry, kind of getting my house reset first thing in the morning. I think today is Monday, and I am getting, you know what I noticed too? I pretty much made bagels every single day that I filmed this month. So, you know, we just really like them over here. I do want to try to figure out some new breakfast ideas, but that's kind of what I'm sticking with because it's what the kids enjoy. So you just kind of, if you find something that works, you stick with it. So starting off with, I do want to talk a little bit about some things that I am learning as I've been kind of growing a pantry stock. So when COVID happened, of course, we, like many other people, decided to make some, I guess, I wouldn't say prepping, but basically some long-term food storage. What we ended up doing is, instead of buying like the pre-made buckets, which in my opinion are kind of expensive and kind of like you don't get as much, I guess they were just expensive, I think was the first thing, and I just didn't really like them and I didn't know how good they were really going to be. We decided to make our own. We started with we got 5-gallon buckets with Mylar bags, and basically this is like food storage if, you know, stuff hits the fan, so to speak, and we need some sort of food. And I think we have like 6 5-gallon buckets like this, and we basically have beans and rice, dried beans, dried rice, salt, and then a big bag of sugar, and then oatmeal. So basically, and I think we had a couple like spices too, but basically we made like these, if we needed to, like full-blown survival. These things will last 20 plus odd years, and it's like beans, rice, oatmeal with some sugar and salt and spices, and those are for like if we absolutely need food. So other than that, I've really tried to, and we did stock up on a bunch of things that I didn't really use, or a bunch of things that I'm trying to use up that I just realized we don't really need. I kind of feel like this is going to sound, I don't mean for this to sound like insulting to some people, because I know there's people out there that, you know, have a more, I guess, that kind of a lifestyle, but it almost feels like prepping has kind of become an industry where people make money off of scaring people. And that's not what I want to do here. I want to more so be like, my goal is to have a rotating stock. So that means basically everything in my stockpile, so to speak, is getting rotated through to where I want to have, I think right now I have roughly like of staples. So when I say staples, I mean beans, dried beans, rice, some canned goods, like I have some canned tuna, canned chicken that we use on occasion, and sugar, flour, and maybe like baking powder, yeast, all that. And basically my goal is to have about 2 to 3 months of like staples kind of stocked up, because, you know, we get snowed in sometimes, we have, you know, really bad weather, we have flooding, there is a landslide potential here. So just having a few extra things for like, just in case it rains, I think is really wise. So, but I really, one of my biggest focus, how do I say that word? For like this next coming year with like homemaking and stuff. And part of it too is an effort to be more frugal, because I think we just would spend money we didn't really have to stock up on things we didn't really need because we were worried about what may happen in the future. So my goal this year is to really focus on rotating our stock and building a comfortable rotating stock. And I want to give some tips and tricks on how to do it if you're just starting out. My goal is that this should not be a huge financial burden for you. It should be something simple that you can slowly build up over time. So I think my first little tip is going to be only buy what you use. So one thing that I've noticed is like a lot of stuff, they tell you, oh, you should get this. They're a great prepping item or stock up item. But if you're not going to use it, then it's not a good stock up item. So what I've started doing is just seeing what kinds of things do we eat, and make sure we always have peanut butter on hand because my kids like peanut butter sandwiches or peanut butter roll-ups. We always have some form of pasta on hand because those are easy, quick meals to throw together. If you're having kind of a lean week, it's easy to put, some spaghetti sauce or even some Alfredo sauce and some pasta together. You don't need the meat. It's always nice to have the meat, but I know one way my husband used to eat it was with, peas. They would use peas instead of meat in their Alfredo, just to kind of make it a little bit fancy. So just stuff like that, being able to get, think of the things that you already are using and kind of use that as your way to kind of grow your stock. So I'm doing I'll do a little bit of a pantry update here in a little bit. I'm going to be getting, so basically right now I'm going through and I'm just inventorying all my pantry items. One of the biggest things that I do this at least twice a year. Maybe I might try to do it a little bit more often. I would eventually like to get some sort of laminated thing that I can erase and count down the different items, but I feel like I just get so busy during the year that it's hard for me to remember to do that, so I don't always do that like I want to. So right now I'm just kind of going through and inventorying everything. This is the second time I've done it this year, and my goal is, like I said, to kind of keep on top of it a little bit more and hopefully make it work in the long term. Okay, so I have inventoried my pantry. So a couple things. This is my laundry room / mud room / pantry. We could have put a walk-in pantry in our house when we built it, but we decided against that and moved it out here because it would have taken half of our master closet. We wanted more space in our closet. So here is my inventory. Most of this stuff, so what I'm learning, because this is our 5th year living here, is that I don't cook with these condensed soups so much anymore. We still do we get the home-style chicken soup because when kids are sick, it's just, that's what we do. They do crackers, saltine crackers, and chicken soup. So I still have some of those. I use a lot of these canned beans, like black beans or the red kidney beans in chilies. I use black beans in chilies. In the fall and winter, I use black beans with our tacos to kind of, stretch our taco meat, make it a little bit more affordable. But I'm looking at all the things, and I can see where I need to kind of stock up on stuff probably next month or maybe the end of this month. We're getting our third of a cow at the end of this month. And so I'm kind of mentally preparing for what do I need to get through the winter. So my goals right now are I have a lot of cream and mushroom soups, and my goals are to try to use those up this year. So, when COVID happened, we bought some stock up stuff, and I've just kind of discovered that I don't actually need those kinds of things. As I've started to cook more from scratch, I feel like I've become more, I don't need the condensed soups as much, I guess I should say. And my husband's not a big fan of mushrooms, but I'm sure it was on sale, and we're let's just get it. So what I'm learning is I still have a lot of staples. I have rice, flour, and I do have dried beans as well. But I also keep canned beans on hand because they're quicker for quick dinners. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to make a fiesta beans and rice dish, and I'm going to use dried beans because I like cooking them in the crock pot. They turn out really well. So basically, now that I have my inventory done, I'm going to make a little bit of a list for Costco. And my goal is, this is going to be a big buy before fall. I'm only going to do this once. I feel like I'm going to do this once kind of in the springtime. I've told you before, in mid to late spring, a lot of canned goods go on sale, really good sales, the canned beans, canned vegetables, which is another thing I've noticed that we're not eating as much. Is I'd like to get the frozen vegetables, but now I've decided we're going to try to, instead of, because we will just heat up the frozen vegetables, and we've just kind of discovered that we prefer them over the canned, which I think they're a little bit better for you because they're not, I mean, not that, I think it's just in water that they're canned in, but so what we're going to start doing is we're going to get the, so we're going to use up the canned vegetables, and we're going to use up the canned condensed soups this fall and winter. And then I'm going to kind of see what other staples I use more of to stock. So looking at it all, I feel like I have a pretty good like kind of start of a stock, and I really don't think I need a lot of stuff to fill in, because one of my goals this year is really to be rotating my stock more. I don't want to have, you know, a pile of stuff that like sits for 2, 3, 4, 5 years to where you end up not using it and it ends up becoming a just kind of an eyesore, or it's wasted money. That's what I'm trying to say. So these are all my cans, so I didn't count those. Those are all my jars for canning. I am still going to be doing some more canning this fall. Here's hoping. I mean, we just have a lot going on this summer, so we're trying to like, once everything kind of settles down, I'm probably gonna be like canning every weekend in September. I wouldn't be surprised. So so that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's a good idea to like every few months. So the last time I did an inventory was like in March, maybe April. And that was kind of before I bought a few more of like the canned beans and stuff that we normally go through. And so my plan is to inventory this at least twice a year, just to stay on top of it, and then kind of stock up my pantry twice a year. As I'm using all the old stuff, my goal is for like probably September's menu, I'm going to basically be using a lot of these canned things that I want to kind of use up, so to speak. So that's kind of where I'm at with kind of my pantry and how I'm starting to make it more of a rotating pantry, if that makes sense. So the second thing I think about is basically using your current recipes to build a stock. So basically when I say like, what are the things that we cook a lot of? We cook a lot of spaghetti, we cook a lot of meatloaf, a lot of things that use things like potatoes, carrots. And so I always try to have those things on hand, and they're relatively inexpensive. Also, if you're baking a lot, I don't bake bread, but I do a lot of pancakes, muffins, those types of bread things. I still go through about 25 pounds of flour a month. So I buy those kinds of things in bulk. Another thing, I think another big thing is starting a little bit at a time. So I was kind of thinking about this because I have had, I wouldn't say it's a bad habit, but during COVID, I had a habit of just kind of buying a little extra, because especially when you didn't know like whether or not the stores would have them or not, it was kind of difficult. So what I feel like makes it a little bit easier so you're not stressing out over whether you have enough is just to, every time you get a grocery list, look like your grocery list for the week. Look at what you are, like what kind of staples, what kind of things you know have like a year shelf life or something. And buy like one extra package. So like an extra package of macaroni, or an extra package of spaghetti noodles, or an extra can of beans or stuff. I will say, like, once you kind of get a feel for what you use a lot of, it will kind of help you to, how do I put it? Like, after you get a feel for it, you'll kind of know, like, certain times of the year, certain things go on sale. Watching the sales. One thing that I notice is, like, in the late spring, early summer, canned items tend to go on sale. And so that's when I generally do like a big stock up, normally in May-ish, because I notice that like canned beans and canned beans, canned vegetables, and canned soups tend to go on sale those times. I also feel like staples in general are going to be kind of the same price. You're not really going to get a lot of sale prices for that. So that's something, like I said, I generally stock up on every once in a while. Like I said, once a month, I'm probably getting a bag of flour. And that's just what I normally do. I normally just buy it from Walmart because it's the cheaper place. Sometimes it's cheaper at Costco, but they're actually building a new Costco closer to us, and we've actually started going to a different church. So we don't go to Costco as often. So we'll kind of see this year, like maybe a Costco membership isn't really going to be worth it, because I do feel like the prices are about the same as Walmart. And so my last tip, I guess, is just making sure you're keeping track of an inventory. So I inventory 2 times a year. You can totally do it more often. I might start doing it maybe every 3 months, just to kind of get a feel for what we are doing. Something that I want to start doing too is shopping my pantry a little bit more, because I want to make sure that I'm using up the stuff that I have before I start buying a bunch of new stuff to stack on top of it. Because the goal here is to be mindful of what we're spending so that we're not overspending, and we're also not wasting food. Finding out, and there might be meals that you just realize that you don't make so much anymore, and you can adjust you know, however you see fit or whatever. Or there might be other meals that you've discovered that you really do like. So overall, I think just being kind of more mindful is like really the key. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that that was helpful. It's been a crazy, crazy month, but I hope you're enjoying it. See you in the next video. Bye.